Yes. All right, have fun. Good morning and welcome back to the KR Daily Transmission. Good morning, Lonnie. Good morning, Brianna. Hi, Michael. Welcome back for our Magdalen Rising week of teachings, activations, and connecting with the one and only Mary Magdalene. Good morning, Sophia from Austin. Good morning, Pinanetta. So, how y'all doing out there? Feel free to share in the chat where you're watching live from. If you're watching on the replay, we love to meet you in the comment feed of the video replay. And wow, there's some new faces this morning. Hello from France. I'm actually wearing my favorite French t-shirt that says how much I love you over and over again. Oh, Sophia is here as well. She is feeling the energy. And that's because, and it's so appropriate that this is a Magdalen Rising week for this final French YouTube live that we'll be broadcasting in just a little while, about 2 hours from now, where we're going to go through the teachings of the Sophia dragons in chapter 13 of the Sophia Code, which completes our live introductory journey through the Sophia Code for our French readership that we've been on that journey for over a year now. Good morning, bonjour, good evening. Good day to everyone tuning in around the world. Kristen is sharing that she's wearing her new sterling silver Mary Magdalene pendant. It arrived yesterday and I love it. Oh, that makes me so happy. It's one of my favorite pendants out of the Magdalene collection. Today I'm wearing the Joan of Arc Born for this pendant. I was born for this pendant, and which is a quote from Joan. And it just makes, it's also one of my favorite pendants. It's super elegant and really powerful. You like the t-shirt? Thanks. I appreciate that. It's one of my favorite t-shirts. It's super comfortable. And the fact that it has the word love on it over and over again, it makes me very happy. So I had, interestingly enough, our live from yesterday really impacted my dream world. I had 3 lucid dreams last night. We were reading from the Mary Magdalene section about her lucid dream for yesterday's KR Daily Transmission, which impacted my dream world last night. Did any of you have any lucid dreams? I actually, hello, bonjour. I actually dreamt about the Sophia dragons in preparation for class today, and that was really cool. We got our little dragon kitty here, who's wanting to say hi, but acting really shy, just kind of pacing back and forth. Do you want to say hi? Okay, there we go. This is Sophia. She's got a bit of a dragon, a good like dragon spirit inside of her cat body. Anyways, all right, do you feel complete in that moment, being seen? So, okay, so we're going to talk about the dragons in a little while back here on YouTube Live, both for English and our French readership. And today I was given a vision. I was in meditation with one of the Tibetan Tankas that I pray and meditate with. This one is for Hayagriva, who is a wrathful protector. And I invited Mary Magdalene to come in and show me what was the meditation that we needed to receive for our Magdalene rising journey today. I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. Oh, cool. Looks like Connie Thunder, I dreamt about my destiny. Ooh, Linda's sharing she was traveling and staying with a family in her lucid dream. And she tried some different choices and reset again to see how things would turn out. Wow, that's so cool. I love reading about your dreams and what you are working with the Sophia Code. Damien is sharing, she's one of our Sophia Circle leaders, that she is revisiting the Stargate One curriculum while leading a Sophia Circle journey. And this is on point with each chapter. It's out of this world. I'm beyond grateful for the divine support to rise. Oh, feels so good. So this ceremony that we're doing on April 13th, the Magdalene Rising Ceremony, it's not just for Mary Magdalene, it's for all the Magdalens. And if you feel deeply connected to Mary Magdalene and you know you're an angel on earth, you're pretty much, chances are good, you're a part of this Magdalene order, the Order of Magdalena. And in the Sophia Code, at the bottom of page 202, there's this passage that I want to read out loud. And if you want to read along with me, that's where I'll be reading from. These are the words of Mary Magdalene. And she says at the bottom of page 202, my Key Code 5 transmission also reveals an ancient Shekinah lineage of magi and oracular high priestesses. Excuse me. Known throughout the cosmos as the Order of Magdalena. When you invoke my overlighting presence to guide you, I am also joined by this sacred order of Magdalens, who are women that have incarnated as revolutionary angels on Earth and in other star systems for millennia. For example, Joan of Arc is a Magdalene, high priestess in our order. So I remember when, I was invoking Magdalene a lot to work on her chapter and her initiation in the Sophia Code. And I started to see all of these golden angelic beings that were showing up whenever I invoked her. Of course, Jesus would be there with her, and so often Mother Mary would be with Mary Magdalene when I would invoke Mary Magdalene and to channel the teachings. And then there was this huge angelic looking group of individuals. They all had angel wings, but most of them were extremely human looking, like Jesus and Mary Magdalene. So I asked her, who are these countless souls that are in attendance to you every time I invoke you? And she said, well, this is my order. So she said, this is the order that I'm a part of. And she said, the name Magdalene is a title, and it's a title connected to this angelic order of souls who are willing to incarnate their brightest light into the darkest places, not just here on Earth, but across the cosmos, on different star systems, different planets that are also struggling or doing their best to awaken to their sovereign divinity. And the more we started talking about this Order of Magdalena, she shared that the requirement of being a Magdalene is the willingness to incarnate into form, which is a central theme of the Sophia Code. It's ascension through form. It's a willingness to master the expression of your divinity inside the matrix of a form or a planetary density. And so Sophia is just really activated this morning. You're wondering what I'm doing here. She's what's happening? Are you excited about everyone on YouTube Live? All right. So these Magdalens. So this is, as I started talking to Mary Magdalene more about the Order of Magdalena, she showed me like how a lot of them that were a part of this Sophia Code transmission were connected to incarnating here on Earth at pivotal times in humanity's evolutionary journey, such as Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc was extraordinary mystic, extremely devoted to her understanding of the source of God. Now, of course, she our history has written her story through a Catholic context, as well as the context that wanted to repress her divine feminine legacy and fit it into a very easy box to retell the tale of her life. Someday I will share a much more expanded version of her story from her perspective. But the point being is that she was receiving clear, direct messages from Jesus, Mother Mary, Archangel Michael, many angelic orders, and many of the saints that were connected to her ministry and her lifetime in France. And this would be an example. Joan is being highlighted, number one, because she's a part of the Sophia Dragon tribe, but and there's so much more that we're going to receive from her as part of this Magdalene order over the years. But she's being highlighted because I don't think people, because she's extremely human. I think a lot of people really relate to Joan's humanity and her struggle and her tragic ending. It's extremely human. And what's interesting about the Magdalene lineage is, yes, it's often connected to extreme suffering for the benefit and liberation of all beings. And I know after channeling Mary Magdalene's story for the Sophia Code and working with these beautiful masters of light for years now, that there's a prayer for the Magdalene lineage to experience itself beyond the need for over-the-top demonstrations of public suffering for the liberation of humanity. And that's important for the times we're living in, because we've already done that. And if we're wondering, well, why would a Magdalene be willing to, for example, like with Jesus being crucified, or Joan, in essence, being crucified at the stake, Magdalene having to flee, like what is being transmitted through these huge dramatic stories of suffering? They are symbols, not that they're not real, they happen, but they symbolize a very important teaching that sometimes humanity can only ever get through large dramatic arcs of storytelling, of an example, of a living example. And that is these moments where Magdalenes have been struck down or hunted represent how we treat the divine feminine. And it's how humanity has been conditioned to hate its own divinity. It's how humanity has been conditioned to punish itself for its sovereignty. We have to understand that when masters of light, such as Jesus or Joan or the Mary, step forward in a very public way to embody both their empowerment and their grief, and the vulnerability of their grief and their suffering, as well as the empowerment of rising up like phoenixes from that grief. What is being demonstrated for us? It is a demonstration of our own arc of evolution. Are we willing to stop punishing ourselves? Are we willing to stop sacrificing ourselves for being literally the angelic light, the divine light of God in this world? And so this angelic order is guiding us now to take the huge wins of those who went before us, such as the members of the Holy Family, those who, brought these mystical teachings out of Egypt, and how these secret mystical divine feminine lineages were brought forward into France and beyond. Like, they're asking us to step forward and be seen, because in great numbers of sovereign divine beings, light workers choosing to be seen in this Magdalene rising consciousness, we get to rewrite the story of what is needed for the liberation of humanity. And what's needed for the liberation of humanity is a clear, direct connection to source, the activation of our spiritual technology, playing the game and embodying the story beyond the theater of sacrifice that previous masters and communities have had to demonstrate to the consciousness of humanity, so humanity could actually see just how much it was suffering for who it already was. So when we call you a living angel on earth, that's not something nice to say. It's because it's number one, true. But number two, it's important for us to reclaim and recognize the full spectrum of these divine attributes that we are embodying here on earth, because in previous lifetimes, we would be carrying these angelic virtues and divine attributes unconsciously. And then because it's in an unconscious embodiment, it's easy for us to be struck down or persecuted or punished, because if you can't claim something, you're going to be divided against yourself. And in that personal internal division, you leave yourself open to attack. Do you see how this works with spiritual leadership? Now, leaders like Joan or Jesus or Magdalene, as they consciously chose the very disturbing drama of that public demonstration of their leadership. They chose that. But what we're talking about here is souls that are angelic light for this world, that are, divided within themselves about being that angelic light. And then that internal division makes us vulnerable to being, emotionally, verbally, or even spiritually attacked. And that's just not, it's just not the prayer for this lifetime. Our angelic mission in this lifetime is to love ourselves so much, right? Just like what this shirt says, how much I love you, how much I love you, how much I love you, how much I love you. It's like, how much do you love yourself in this lifetime? Because in the sacred fire of that self-love, you will rise as a phoenix in this lifetime, and the full identification and recognition that you are an angel on earth. And it is from that reclamation that you get to gather all of your gifts and talents and skills from other lifetimes of leadership, and to step forward as a part of the Magdalene Rising in this lifetime, from a truly empowered, balanced, and grounded space within you, where you can put your sword in the ground and stand for the sacred without taking in the judgments, projections, or attacks of others, because you are standing in the truth of your light. You are owning the radiance of your divinity. You've activated your spiritual technology. You've surrounded yourself with a spiritual community of light workers. And that is an invincible light, first and foremost from within. But then, your invincible light is joining the invincible light of a community of light workers. So when we start to gather and recognize how we are co-creating a new sovereign paradigm together, and that there is great strength in numbers, you get to feel into the joy, the playfulness, the creative genius, the healing powers, the miraculous ability to command new realities to come into existence, and to take divinely guided action as a part of that sovereign paradigm rising. It's like you get to walk as the Magdalene Rising, empowered like the sun within your heart, that Christ consciousness radiating out of every cell of your body. That's a very different way to approach your angelic mission and your higher self embodiment. So let's connect into, the power of numbers. We have our community members here live. If you're watching on the replay, I truly believe that each of our higher selves are connected across the heart waves, regardless of physical boundaries or limitations, the time-space continuum, perception of reality. And let's just call forth a circle of empowerment, first for yourself individually this morning, feeling that circle of light surrounding you now, the grace and protection of your higher self and the ascended master mentors that you call upon every morning. White Buffalo Woman in the north, Isis in the northeast, Hathor in the east, Queen Tara in the southeast, Mother Mary in the south, Mary Magdalene, Jesus, Saint Joan of Arc, and the entire order of Magdalene in the southwest. In the west, Kuan Yin and Babaji, and in the northwest, the Sophia dragons, those holy seraphim of the divine mother within that center of your circle, your higher self, expanding the light of your higher self through your body out to the very edges of that circle, grounding, anchoring, connecting to the heart of Mother Earth and opening your crown chakra to your direct connection to Source, at this time, I welcome you to open up your heart, unfurl your angel wings, your etheric angel wings, and to feel the peace and the presence of your own divinity pulsing within every cell of your body, shining as a soul, as the star of your soul from the center of your heart. And I welcome Mary Magdalene to step forward to bless your third eye chakra and your ear chakras that are connected on the sides of your forehead, connected to your inner ear canals. To bless your sight, to be able to feel, see, hear, or connect intuitively in some other way that's unique to you, where you can feel the presence of the Order of Magdalena, the countless master souls that have served in their angelic light here on Earth and on other planets, that are reaching out to you and your heart right here and right now, across the ages, across space and time, here in the eternal present moment, where all divine love exists simultaneously. We'll welcome Mary Magdalene, Jesus, and the entire Order of Magdalena to surround your consciousness with a deepened awareness of being connected to this lineage, both in this lifetime and in others, and to feel their guidance, their protection, and support for your divine purpose and your spiritual leadership to thrive in this lifetime. We welcome, as you open up your heart, any fears or anxieties or burdens that you may have been carrying this week from, just living your divine purpose, serving your family, being there for your friends or your community or coworkers, and I welcome you to present any burdens that you may be feeling this morning to the Order of Magdalena and just say, hey, I would like support, would like some angelic support and some of these burdens that I may be carrying that may not be entirely mine to be carrying, if at all. And you may feel like a lightening of your heart. Perhaps I'm seeing for some people, they're carrying a little too much energy on your shoulders, a little too much heavy on the shoulders. And Mary Magdalene and Jesus are offering their support to help lift that energy and to remind you of the divine support that is flowing to you, the omniscient divine love, the solutions, the creativity, the strength, and the willingness of your own higher self that is actually flowing through your body from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. And there's always the opportunity to turn back and recenter in your heart and reconnect with this constant resource of divinity that exists within you and all around you, and to feel these beautiful souls that are angelic guides for you to step in the fullness, the full joy, the full power, the full prosperity, the full creativity of all the different archetypes of leadership that are awakening with you in this lifetime and becoming an integrated, whole, sovereign expression of your leadership in this lifetime. And Mary Magdalene is bringing, she's a very powerful hands-on healer. And so she's bringing her hands to your throat and she's opening up gently the passageway between your throat and your heart. I'm just strengthening and opening, and I'm witnessing this beautiful rose petal unfurling of your heart chakra. This like star-dusted light that Mary Magdalene is streaming down from the center of your heart chakra, that begins to grow brighter and brighter with a spectrum of different shades of blue. And it looks like a blue star that grows brighter and brighter at the center of your throat. You may even feel a little bit of that sapphire seraphim blue flames. And as that beautiful blue star transmission that Mary Magdalene is using to not only clear, but also empower your most authentic expression, there's this like stardusted stream of light that's opening that connection between your heart and your throat. And I'm really feeling that presence of Venus. There's so much energy with the astrological alignment of Venus, which of course is planet connected to the divine feminine movement. So she's saying there's so many conjunctions that are all pointing their beneficial activating power towards these two centers this month of April, your heart and your throat. And both your throat and your heart are deeply connected to that spiritual technology of your etheric angel wings, which they do exist in a higher dimensional reality that download an interface into the back of your heart chakra. When you open up your angel wings, your heart opens up. It's like you can't even keep your heart closed. It's not even possible when you unfurl those angel wings, which is really good news because as Mother Mary teaches us, and we're going to learn about more from the book that I am channeling from her, that the more we keep our hearts open, the more that invincible light can shine through and radiate into this world. And it's only when we contract our hearts and shut our hearts down that we then turn away from our power, turn away from the truth of what we know about ourselves, which then again invites, interestingly enough, attack and oppression. When we turn away from our power, we're not standing up and standing for what is sacred. And what is sacred in this lifetime is your heart's expression, your heart's wisdom, your heart's true knowing and discernment of reality. What is sacred is your throat chakra being able to clearly express the truth, the wisdom, the visions, even the prophetic messages that you are receiving from your higher self and your heart. This is the path of the Magdalene rising. This is the divine feminine rising. This is the somatic, embodied, miraculous, direct knowing that each and every one of us are here to embody, that we know our connection to source. We know the truth of our sovereign divinity. And we are not turning away from that truth for anyone or anything. And as we, as a community of light workers, choose to live in that truth day in and day out, we grow those muscles of spiritual faith, courage, and strength that allows us to shine that sacred flame of our sovereign divinity in extraordinary ways, both right here and now in this present moment, but for the next decade to come, which is extremely important. The Magdalene Rising is extremely important. This movement to remember the Magdalene Key Code 5, divine virtues within ourselves. I mean, Jesus taught even greater works will be commanded in the name of God. He was, as Mary Magdalene shared in the Sophia Code, he was speaking about you. He was speaking about us. I personally believe that anyone committed to embodying Sophia Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, it's the same thing as saying source consciousness, that we are a continuation of their profound ministry and their incredible legacy of love. And this is why we are receiving so much extraordinary support from the Ascended Masters of the Sophia Dragon Tribe, from these Key Code Ascended Masters in this lifetime. It's because they know the stakes of the mission. The stakes are high, and this decade is pivotal for the future of humanity and the future of this planet. And we are just the angelic souls for the job. We are just the people to say yes. We are those souls that are willing, faithful, and really gifted from other lifetimes. Like we consciously chose this mission to airdrop down as light workers to activate the sovereign divinity of humanity. And I want to take this moment, I'm feeling incredibly inspired by Mary Magdalene and the entire Order of Magdalena, to personally thank our Sophia Circle leaders worldwide. We have leaders all over the world that you can go on journeys through the Sophia Code teachings, which is a sacred text of sovereignty, inspired by my own connection to the Order of Magdalena. Honestly, I really feel like this is the one key code in this particular lifetime that is extremely important to my heart. Not that they aren't all, but somehow the way it's worked out, like all of these lineages, kind of like how all roads lead to Rome, the saying, it's kind of like all of the lineages that are featured here somehow in my own personal journey come back to the expression of Christ consciousness. And yeah, I want to thank those our beautiful Sophia Circle leaders. Feel free to introduce yourself if you're a Sophia Circle leader in the chat or in the video comment replay, because you are, I really believe you are such a profound part of expanding our ministry of Sophia Christ consciousness, expanding the opportunities worldwide for people to step into these Sophia Circle journeys and discover their own sovereign divinity, their own connection to the Magdalene rising, their own divine feminine empowerment through these journeys into the Sophia Code teachings. And if you are interested in going on a Sophia Circle journey, you can learn more on my Sophia Circle Leaders Directory on my website at kaia.com. And if you're interested in becoming a Sophia Circle leader and feeling the power of your angelic embodiment serving a global mission for awakening sovereignty, check out our Sophia Circle Leadership Certification course that starts this September. And come to Austin this May, where you can meet some of our incredible Sophia Circle leaders supporting us in our outdoor fire ceremonies and our invocations and our readings of the Codex and our extremely riveting step up to the mic sessions that I'll be doing live on stage with audience members. And yeah, we just have so many extraordinary offerings that are all directed to empowering your leadership, to helping you step into the clarity and the creativity and the authentic expression of your divine purpose in this lifetime. It's what we're all about. We're about nurturing the leadership, nurturing sovereign leadership. So be sure to sign up for that Magdalene Rising ceremony that's happening April 13th. It's coming up. That's going to be a completely channeled ceremony with higher self activations. The link for signing up is only $33. It's in the chat. We'll also be putting that link in the video description. And consider joining us in Austin. Come meet our Sophia Circle leaders, our beautiful team angels. That's going to be a completely channeled immersive, as well as, wow, I'm super excited to share so many professional tools and insights live with this riveting group of leaders that we're going to be meeting with. And we're also going to be doing our first affiliate training program that day as well for our Sophia Circle leaders during that conference. So there's just so much good stuff coming up along with Sophia Circle leadership beginning this August, or it's like the end of August, beginning of September. I forget the exact date, but yeah, I want to thank you for the opportunity to thank you, leaders. And I want to thank each and every one of you who are standing in your divine purpose, taking the time to connect with Mary Magdalene, choosing to go deeper with the Order of Magdalena, you know, showing up to the daily journey of embodying your higher self and discovering the power of your divinity and what it's really here to do, beyond just the healing of you know, the very important healing of trauma. When we actually face our trauma, we reclaim a level of soul power that's like, let's go. It's a creative fire that you could spend the rest of your life learning how to embody and to live a completely new relationship with life, how to thrive in all circumstances. So, you know, there's just so much goodness that we're up to, and it's my privilege and joy to be here with you live every morning. We have some really great questions coming in for our Friday Q&A, and I'm going to be live back here in about a little over an hour for our French YouTube live journey for Chapter 13 of the Sophia Code. It's consecutive French translation. Feel free to join us for that as well. I love you all so much. Have a beautiful, brilliant day or evening wherever you are in the world. And Sophia sends her love to you too. Namaste, angels. See you back here soon.